Driven by their own selfish desires, they shamelessly urge others to make sacrifices, wrapping greed in the language of virtue. This is not devotion, it is deception. It is not responsibility, it is plunder. If the benefits of a system can never be shared, then why must its burdens always be evenly distributed? They chant, "Under heaven a new king rises, and every commoner bears responsibility," as if history itself demands obedience. On the first day of 2026, I hope people learn one thing. Love the country a little less, shout slogans a little less, and love yourself a little more. We are all ordinary people. Stop pretending to be the masters of a nation that has never treated you as one. When they label you human resources or demographic dividends, you still call them your own. That is the tragedy. Stop being sentimental. They do not see you as one of them. In fact, they do not even see you as human. Meanwhile, essays titled "Why Maduro Is Not Panicking" circulate unfinished, half-drawn, as if even propaganda itself is too tired to pretend anymore. So whose face hurts the most this time? Who exactly is my enemy? My mind is clearer than ever. You don't need to stand there pointing fingers, arranging enemies like pieces on a chessboard. The people you named have nothing to do with me at all. They merely crossed your path or loved you too deeply, and for that they became convenient targets. If you want to manufacture hatred, if you want to stir chaos, then do it yourself. Don't drag me into your performance. I've heard countless speeches from countless mouths, but your words, I lived them. I felt them in my bones. And I learned one truth the hard way. The moment you dare to go all in, the moment you show you are ready to burn the boats and tear the net, the bullies retreat. The ones who crush you were never giants to begin with. They are paper tigers, brave only when facing the weak, terrified when confronted by resolve. Remember this clearly. If you don't force yourself to become tough, the world will force you into a corner. If you dare to risk everything, no one dares to control you. Power feeds on hesitation. Manipulation survives on fear. Once you see clearly who profits, you will immediately understand who is acting and who is being used. Every actor is acting for one thing: Li Yi, Li Yi, Li Yi, gain. When the situation looks confusing, stop staring at the smoke and mirrors. Look at where the Li Yi flows. The process can be staged, rehearsed, rewritten, but the outcome never lies. In Southeast Asia, the so-called light of our country now resembles pork laid bare in a wet market, ordinary, exposed, stripped of its shine. If future generations are the responsibility of society, then society must shoulder that responsibility honestly. If future generations are the burden of individuals, then society has no right to interfere with individual choices. You cannot demand everything and give nothing. If we talk endlessly about dedication but never mention wages, if we preach lofty ideals while ignoring brutal reality, and if individual suffering is declared irrelevant to the collective, then on what moral ground does the collective claim loyalty from the individual? Today, it is time to tear off the mask and name it clearly. This is what new fascism looks like. A truly responsible country does not drain the happiness of the majority to feed the appetites of a minority. A mature society does not strip dignity from the many in the name of survival of the fittest. Any system that claims to be people-centered, yet turns survival pressure into moral judgment against ordinary citizens, is not governance, it is coercion. And when that happens, it deserves its real name: new fascism. What is left to shout now? This is no longer a debate of opinions, it is a war for the right to speak. We must reclaim that right. We must remember who we are. We are not numbers, we are not tools, we are the people of this earth. This is our home. So do not speak on our behalf. You never earned that right. People are already waking up. They are no longer easy to provoke, no longer easy to scare. Push them further, and they will turn their backs completely. For decades, suffering has been romanticized. Young people are told to endure hardship, to grind endlessly, to stop thinking about money, as if poverty itself were a moral virtue. Let me tell you the truth. That narrative exists because someone else has already calculated your fate for you. They press your head into the ground, so you never lift it, never wake up, never see the sky, while others stand comfortably on your back. Under the rule of the Chinese Communist Party, the landscape now resembles an approaching end. The economy continues to slide. Foreign capital is leaving. Businesses are shutting down. Unemployment spreads like rot. Debt piles higher every month. Corruption is rampant. Internal power struggles never stop. External conflicts never end. Officials scramble to survive. Public anger boils beneath the surface. Analysts are no longer whispering. It is openly said that the CCP has entered its late-stage decay. 2026 will not be calm. This broken ship cannot endure further storms. Even if it doesn't crack open tomorrow, the people will no longer agree to sink with it. On mainland Chinese platforms like Douyin, the change is visible. More and more posts and videos use metaphor, sarcasm, and coded language to mock and expose the regime. What was once whispered is now half-spoken in public. Netizens openly accuse the CCP and Xi Jinping of losing all public trust. The word end appears again and again, and people are finally understanding this. The problem was never a few officials, never a single policy. The problem is the system itself, a machine built on lies. Housing prices that crush families, healthcare that bankrupts the sick, education that drains parents dry, unemployment that devours hope. Industry after industry collapses, and with it, confidence. The awakening is quiet, but it is real. And once people see clearly, they do not unsee. The CCP is the root of the suffering, not the solution. Push people further, and they won't sleep at night. Not from fear, but from rage. Why do so many curse the Qing dynasty today? Because history is repeating itself. We are standing at the same historical turning point. When someone wants you dead and leaves you no exit, what choice remains? You push back. You send them to the edge. When truth is already laid bare, fear loses its power. Fear is their final weapon, and it only works if you still believe in it. Every great blaze begins with a spark. Every pomegranate begins with a single drop of water. Once humiliated, once wounded, once licking our wounds alone through endless nights, today we choose to stand up, not for revenge, but to protect the future version of ourselves. When countless voices merge into one chorus, even the most arrogant authority must listen. This world will not belong to those who kneel best, but to those who refuse to kneel at all. They label the powerful tigers and the small flies, but people like us are neither. We are the ground beneath them. Some laugh it off, some talk about leaving for the United States. They mock America's decline, calling it the longest downhill road in history. They say Americans have been walking it for decades, lifting stones only to smash their own feet, charging like wild horses toward cliffs. Maybe, maybe not. But obsession with others' decline has become the perfect distraction from confronting our own collapse. So, what is the real backbone of a country? Not slogans, not posture, not polished statistics. No matter how beautiful the numbers look, confidence cannot be fabricated. The condition of the people is the one thing that cannot be faked. True strength is not efficiency achieved through suppression. It is a system that provides a bottom line, a guarantee that tomorrow can be better. What we see instead is endless falsification. Experts, judges, scholars, reports, projects, tenders, all hollowed out. People obsess over foreign trivia while ignoring domestic collapse. A broken water pipe in Atlanta becomes breaking news, enough to drown out countless unresolved crises at home. One trivial story can erase 1,000 real problems, and isn't that absurd? Everything feels fake all day long, while real people exhaust themselves just trying to survive. There must be those who sing praises, and those who tear down the embroidery hiding decay. 100 years pass, yet those in the fields remain bound to the soil, those in exam halls to grain, those on the streets to incense sticks. Analysts warn that 2026 may mark the peak of social conflict. Unemployment and debt from factory closures and relocations have drained families for over a year. The lowest layers of society are reaching their limits. When they break, struggle will no longer be a moment, it will be a condition. When survival disappears, resistance spreads. Social risks will seep into the countryside. Videos of ordinary men openly challenging authority ignite massive resonance. Comments flood in. The people have awakened. Death is no longer terrifying. Veterans speak up. If you stay silent today, you may be next tomorrow. Unity is no longer optional. Rise up, those who refuse to be slaves. The people are the foundation. Win their hearts, and you win history. Fear is not weakness. Exposing it is power. When pushed into despair, even trapped dragons rise. Everything reaches an extreme and then reverses. Hardship is not eternal. The turning point will come.